students are welcome, but what do we get out of it as local communities? And actually I realized that was also a big opportunity for the university, because actually sending out my students for real-world projects, actually do that together with a charity or an SME makes a lot of sense. It shouldn't be immediately into internship at the company. So we started actually asking all these representatives of the business community, okay, when you have questions, put them on a piece of paper, professor looks at them, some of them, of course, are not really suitable for consultants, some are. So we actually allow students to experiment with consultants, to work for those type of smaller size and organizations and players. And they would learn a lot from that, and they would be much better prepared when they would go into a big organization. So doing consultancy work with AI in companies, starting off with small companies before you go into the big employers for your internship, I think is really sensible way of getting students to be comfortable with AI, at the same time contributing to the prosperity of the communities we are based in. There is a third way, and that is actually even more ambitious, and that is supporting AI in businesses, not just with a small or defined consultancy projects, that really as work-based studies. It's the German model. It's very common here in Germany. It's called duale Studien, and really what it does is a student doesn't only get a place at the university, they also get a job at the company at the same time. So you double select the employer and the university selects the student. The employer actually pays fees for the students, they pay a stipend to the student, housing costs, etc. And the student actually has a proper job, they work their way through the normal promotion ladder. But at the same time, they're studying, so they also have to work their way through the different exams and going from level 1 to 1 through, etc. at the university. So they do a dual track, and it is great for students because they actually learn much more often than those students who are continuously in the classroom. Of course, it's great for the student because they are finance, so they are not so dependent on someone, the parents and so on, having tuition fees and so on. And they already have a job, but also when it comes to employability, employability is 100% the graduate normally so they have them a job as a consequence. So very good for the students, very good for employers because they have the opportunity to actually really help that particular person grow the organization and to really understand the strengths. It's great for the university because we have really good students and knowledgeable students who understand, in this case, how AI works in the real world, apply it all the time, and of course, very good for the institution to have students who have academic jobs and so on. So everybody wins in this setup, and it's something I strongly recommend. Now, there is one more ambitious level above that, and that is international dual student, international work-based programs. In other words, it's not just for domestic students who are doing that, but actually let's see if there are students in the world who have potential, who have understanding of AI and information, especially at postgraduate level, we can actually also run international work-based programs whereby students already have a degree at the bachelor level and then do a master level in, let's say, software engineering, let's focus on AI, whilst they're doing projects with companies. This is an experiment I'm working on at the moment. I hope to be able to launch that next year. Our plan is absolute passion that all companies have to have AI integrated in their operation. They have to have a director of AI, etc. So I'm talking with the government to say, okay, let's set up a work-based program for students where we attract talent from across the world to provide on a master degree which is work-based and with a focus on software engineering or data sciences and AI, whatever the best for the companies. So that's a very attractive one, and it's also very attractive because there's another dimension to it. So one is, yes, students can get a job at these companies, but actually also some of these students actually have great ideas themselves, and the other thing, which is just absolutely a priority in Dubai, is attracting and enterprises, new enterprises, startups and so on, especially in the field of AI. So some of these companies actually can, some of these students move from working in the company to also to get funding for their own company at an incubator in Dubai. And that's a nice example. I'm not trying to say I'm promoting Dubai here. What I'm saying is I'm giving an example. It might be an example you also want to consider. Pakistan. Because Pakistan has a lot to offer in the field of especially applied AI. I'm not asking for fundamental research on AI. I'm not asking for the next generation DeepSeek or something like that. But applied AI, critical application, really understand AI, and applying that to a particular sector, whatever that sector is, can be marketing, it can be creative sector, etc. You have a lot of untapped talent in Pakistan, and it is obviously attractive to find a way to bring that talent into the business world in Pakistan and also outside Pakistan. So what I'm really looking for is an alignment of interests of educators and employers and of course the students and the graduates themselves. I'm aware, coming back to the starting that even in education at the moment, it's not just about lagging behind. There's a lot of anxiety about AI in education. There is even a resistance to AI. First of all, not all teachers feel comfortable that they know enough about AI to actually teach that to the students. At my own institution, I try to introduce the concept of co-learning. You do not need to know everything, because when it comes to rapidly evolving technology, something like AI, which is never really fixed, it's just continuously every day there is a new development. You cannot be always ahead of your students. So what you need to do is discovering AI and understanding AI as an exploration which you do together with your students rather than just talk it. You guide them, you coach them, you facilitate. Does it mean, and that is also ultimately the elephant in the room, the big anxiety, hey, at this moment you don't need teachers anymore. As I jokingly said, I mean, this is still old-fashioned in front of a camera, but in a few years it's bound to be virtually a digital twin powered by AI, giving a much more sensible speech and not making any mistakes in the sentences and so on. Wow. That's really the future. So we want to do that with teachers as well. Are teachers going to be redundant? No, I don't think so. I think that is a misunderstanding. What will happen is that the role of teachers is going to change and it becomes much more facilitating. A lot of the more repetitive aspects of teaching can be done better by AI. It's more consistent. A lot of the marking assessment can be done in a faster and more consistent made by AI. That's all fine. But it doesn't mean that we need less teachers. It means that you, as a teacher, as a lecturer, as a professor, you can focus a bit more on the individual students. You actually can give attention to students, which you don't really are not able to do at the moment, because you have to spread your attention to a lot of students at the same time. And so helping in that more personalized learning, giving attention to students, giving better understanding also of what students can do. It creates space. It doesn't reduce the workload, but it changes the workload. Why do I make that point so explicitly here? Because yes, I know that besides anything we say, guys, don't be afraid, that's your job. It's just going to change the job. But that's also the message for business. Education isn't that different from business. There's a lot of concern at the moment that AI only helps to improve the bottom line. We don't need, like I said, the staff in administration is already a very realistic target. You don't need them anymore. It can be done better by AI. So, we make the companies more profitable? No, I don't think so. What is going to happen is that the companies rather than spending a lot of money on staff doing very repetitive things which can be done better by AI, actually that releases resources to do other things. Maybe spend more time on product development, maybe more spend on consumer care, more on R&D, etc. Right? So you can start shifting resources rather than just saying, hey, we added to the profit, added to the bottom line. Because all companies are going to be in that position. So if companies are not actually utilizing those resources for development, etc., and staying ahead in the market, actually they will become less competitive. I mean, it's also, if you take too much profit, actually you weaken in the long term your position as a competitive company. So it's not about just reducing staff members and increasing profits. No, it is about finding a way of using the resources in a different way, in a smarter way. And to be honest, once you get them that knowledge, also in a less wasteful way. That is true for education, but it is also true for business. It will boost the competition, and therefore, actually, ultimately, I hope also the consumer, but certainly overall prosperity should win from that. Now, it does mean that those who are not grasping that, those who are not going down that route, actually are at risk of being future losers. So, I mean, it is actually a very serious message there. Right, a lot of words, not delivered as smooth as my digital twin is going to do in a couple of years' time, but I hope I got some key messages across. One, the imperative, in my view, imperative to make AI a compulsory and integrated part of our education. Two, the opportunity to reach out to especially the SMEs and so on, not just to the big companies, through AI-driven student consultancy projects. And three, the opportunity of educations and employers to join forces through the so-called duale study, the work-based study program, nationally as well as internationally. Thank you very much for your attention. Dear
Thank you so much, Dr. Wen. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our next keynote guest speaker, Dr. Nadeem Qazi, who will also join us online. Dr. Qazi is a senior lecturer in computer science and digital technologies at the University of East London. Dr. Qazi has earned his PhD in machine learning from Cranfield University and is a fellow of the Higher Education Academy. He is the Director of Research and Innovation at UEL. With over 7 years of postdoctoral research experience, he has contributed to major AI and big data projects in crime analytics, smart homes, assisted living, computer vision, and human activity recognition. He has led the EU-funded Valkyrie visual analytics projects at Middlesex University and worked on international collaborations like iQuest Smart Home initiatives. At UEL, Dr. Qazi supervises both master and PhD students, teaches modules in AI, machine vision, big data analytics, web mobile development, and distributed systems, and continuous active research into AI-driven applications. We are honored to have Dr. Qazi with us today and look forward to his expertise in advancing AI and digital technologies. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Assalamu alaikum,
Hello.
Dr. Qazi.
Alaikum assalam. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are
Got it.
audible.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. As I've been introduced, I am Dr. Nadeem Qazi, an associate professor at University of East London, and I have a PhD in AI. This morning, I will be talking about the new era of AI, which is about the generative AI and the agentic AI. And I will be focusing on that in this new era, what should be the business policies so that we can cope with the new advanced research that is being integrated in the business environment due to AI. Introducing myself, I have been in multiple universities. I have been in Brunel University, Middlesex University. I have been a researcher in the EU for EU projects, and my background is in AI, big data, machine learning. Having said that, let's start our discussion about the today's talk. So I assume all of you are familiar with the basic definition of AI, that in principle it basically mimic the human behavior so that machine can do what a human can do. It's a very broad definition actually, and in that case we also define the weak and strong AI. And so far humans have achieved partially some good remarkable achievement in weak AI. However, the strong AI, which means that a machine can have cognitive power, is still in process, and we are hoping to get something as what we have achieved in weak AI. The way the AI works is that basically it is a mixture of many things, and that includes machine learning, that includes natural language processing, that includes deep learning, that includes computer vision, and all of this component together then make this possible that machine can form something similar to the human. And in doing so, the process involves some input from the human, so that human thinks something, and it prompts AI to do something, and then AI gives some result. Now, this is in the hand of a human to either reject that AI suggestion or accept this. This is where today's debate is going on, that how should we incorporate the human and the AI in one frame, so that the heavy loading or heavy work is done by AI, and the decision making is done by human. So in the last decade of AI, starting from the artificial neural network, we have seen a very vast amount of invention and achievement from the AI. For example, the biggest one that comes in 2010 was computer vision achievement, and there we have something called as ImageNet. And due to this ImageNet, most of the computer vision which you are looking at these days are possible. For example, image captioning, for example, driverless car, for example, IBM Western's, which is the question answer systems. And this all begins with the invention of AlexNet, that was a competition won in 2012, and that was because of an algorithm called as convolutional neural network. And then in recent era of the AI, the very famous is called as generative AI, which is based on something called as generative adversarial network, or GEN. And due to these things, today's world is full of many content generated by the AI, and one of the important content which is basically damaging and the secret is what we call as deepfake video or deepfake content. So these are some of the challenges that we are observing in today's AI. Now, before I move further, we already have crossed Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 was the fourth industrial revolution, where we have digital technologies like IoT, like big data, like cloud computing. They all merged, and we were able to achieve some smart, automated, and connected applications in almost every field. For example, Google search recommendation system, for example, medical imaging system, for example, facial recognition system, for example, customer behavior analysis, predictive maintenance, default detection. These were all possible in Industry 4.0. But at the same time, Industry 4.0 also put up some questions, and those questions was that what is the role of human in this AI era? Should we blindly follow the AI decision because the world is not created for the machine, the universe is created for the human. This is where now the Industry 4.0 is being taken over by Industry 5.0, which is in practice. And what we are saying in the Industry 5.0 is that there is a world that need to be exist where both human and the machine will collaborate each other. And in today's world, in today's Industry 5.0, we have many things which are there. For example, self-moving robots. For example, object recognition and manipulation. For example, collaborative working of human and robots. These are all the examples of the Industry 5.0. Having said that, just to give you some idea about where we are going in this era, I have some statistical evidence that suggests that in the coming future, there is a high need of adoption of the AI technologies. This is the particular. Of the business decision will be either based on the automated or the automatic these are some of the critical indicators that is suggesting that if you want to go ahead and if you want to compete, particularly in the business sector, there is a high time that you should consider to adopt the artificial intelligence based application in the business sector. And this is where I will be talking about. I will be introducing you some of the latest technologies that is in demand in post AI era. So, in our Industry 5.0, which I call as postmodern AI, now we are following three main basic AI component. One is called as explainable AI, the other one might be familiar as the generative AI, and the very recent one is called as agentic AI. These are the three forms of AI that in this postmodern AI era, these are the AI framework that need to be adopted for every platform, particularly towards the business. And when I use the word business, it includes many domains. It includes healthcare, it includes education, it includes manufacturing, and anything which is related to the human. So, first of all, let me introduce you what is the meaning of explainable AI. So far, AI has been used as a blind black box or as a black box where AI was making a decision and the human was accepting it as it is. But now there is a concern that why should we be using AI blindly? Because whenever AI gives a decision, it just gives the accuracy of the model, that this model is, for example, 70% accurate or 80% accurate. It does not tell you that what is the justification of this solution. For example, you go to the loan application and based on the model that they are using, they will either reject your model, reject your application or accept your application without giving a justification. This is where now the researchers have thinking about something called as explainable AI. So explainable AI is a that form of AI which moves forward from the black box part of the AI. For example, earlier the AI decision, as I mentioned, was just black and white. They just give you the decision that this is cat or this is a dog. But now when the AI gives a decision, it also justifies that this is a cat because it has got a tail, because it has got two eyes, because it moves, because it speaks meow. So these are the new form of an AI which explain or give the justification based on these decisions. And this one, or this explainable AI, is basically very important in our new framework of industry, which is Industry 5.0. So the way this model works, this models basically, in addition to adopting the traditional AI models, it also adopts something called as explainable AI, which actually focus on those features that has been considered by the model to make a decision. For example, suppose if a model is suggesting that the price of some flat or some house is, let's say, 500,000 pounds, then it also would say that the price is 500,000 pounds because it has got, for example, 3 bedrooms, for example, 1 garden. So not only it just gives you the answer, it also justifies this answer. And this is where the new Industry 5.0 is emphasizing the sectors that we should adopting the model that should explain the decision making, what is the base of this the decision. So this is where from a white from the black box, we are now moving towards a white box, where every decision is justified based on the feature factors, based on the parameters that has been used by the AI models. So in principle, we are looking towards an AI that is transparent, which means that it explains its decision, and it also has an accuracy, and it can be interpreted, which means that if you have a model, you can say that why this model has given me this decision, and how can I interpret this model if I change something regarding the input of the model. And not only this model can also be controllable. So these are the new form of the AI that is being incorporated in our AI framework. In addition to this, the Industry 5.0 is also focusing to make the model transparent, and the human can question about the model, that if some model is predicting something, then what is the reason that model has given. For example, if a healthcare model has been trained on American population, then there is a high chance that this model would not be able to give the prediction on the Asian population. So this is where the explainability would be used, or would be incorporated in order to give that what is the base of the decision of an AI model. There are many use cases of explainable AI, and one of the very important one is, as I mentioned, is the healthcare. In addition to this, you can also incorporate into manufacturing. You can incorporate into a defense, and it can also be used in financial services. And there are many more use cases where explainable AI has got its merits and need to be adopted. In another form of the Industry 5.0, which is very common these days, we call it generative AI. For example, the figure or the image that I am showing you here, I have just put some prompt engineering on my Copilot, asking him to give me a picture to show that how it looks like on Mars. And this is the picture generated by the generative AI. If you have been using the generative AI, you know that most of the human-like images that you see these days are not real. They are all fake, because this has been generated by the generative AI. So generative AI is actually in the process of reshaping art and literature. Various industries are using it to enhancing its productivity and creativity. Generative AI is based on the concept of a responsive AI, which means that a human gives some prompt, and based on this input prompt, the generative AI engine generates the content, and human either reject it or accept it and give its input. And this is a two-way learning process, which then gives back machine-created content, which can be used in many forms, for production, for manufacturing, and anything like this. The most common form of the generative AI that is being used these days is large language model, or a chatbot, which employs the large language model, and this has actually changed the entire world. Now we have got a digital assistants that can be incorporated into the AI application who work like a human and can communicate with the users or with the customers, can take their input and can make the thing happen just like that the customer is talking to a human rather than a machine. In that case, one of the important things that is being considered or should be considered is that a human should be in the loop so that the human take the major role rather than the machine. Some of the example I have shown you here, which is basically generated by the AI, and one of the important part that is being used here is visual art creation. You can use Gen AI to create functions that is based on a given context, based on a human requirement, so that industries can generate fashion which is more easily adopted by the humans based on their authentic background, based on their contextual background, based on their culture. This is where the generative AI is playing a very important role. In addition to this, the generative AI is also being used in content creation. For example, these days we create many things from the generative AI part. This is also being used in education, and it is a very important part of the generative AI, where we are using generative AI for assessment, for creating lectures, for creating assignments, and for creating virtual learning assessment based on the chatbot. So generative AI is actually implementing or creating an entire framework that could be implemented in the in most of the business. However, it also asks you some ethical considerations, which means that the misinformation or the deepfake that is generated by the generative AI content can create some kind of problems in the society. For example, in digital media, where the deepfake video is very common, it can create political instability. These are the things which need to be considered and which need to be tackled to create a faithful, trustful environment where we can use the generative AI in its all potential. There are some of the top applications that is incorporating generative AI in research in 2025, which are drug discovery, which are literature review. For example, earlier it takes a lot of time to make some research publication. Now, with the help of some research tools, you can create the research publication with more than 1 or 2 hours, and it helps to write down the content for you. For example, scientific writing. It is also being used in simulation, experimental design, and many things like this. The another form of the Industry 5.0 is agentic AI. So while your generative AI is the responsive in a way that you create the prompt and it reacts, the agentic AI is a reactive AI, which means that it is referring to a system which are autonomous, which make the decision on their own. They don't need human to guide them, and they are goal oriented or goal directed, and they can work without the intervention of the human. And when I say without the intervention of human, which means they do not need the human intervention continuously. They can make a decision, and there is a lot of potential of the agentic AI in this era in almost every part of the business. For example, Netflix, for example, Amazon, they are using to make their supply chain using or based on the agentic AI, and because this agentic AI enables 24/7 intelligent operation, it reduces overheads, it improves customer experience, and it saves knowledge works beyond the human limit. So, just to give you an example, one of the recent development in the Amazon platform is that they have incorporated an agentic AI-based recommendation system which collects the data, which create the user profile, then generate the content generation, evaluate the customer's review based on the large language model, and then give the personalized recommendation to the persons. So it basically makes two parts. One is the generative AI part and another agentic AI part. Both of these two then make the system which is more useful to the human, which is more human oriented. Now, in this era of AI and genetic AI, the jobs securities are very important. And there has been a recent survey, and it suggests that about 60% of the workers are worried because AI might eliminate their job. And this is really very high concern these days, that if AI are about to remove the human from their prospective job environment. And 9% of the organizations are actually using the generative AI in their job redesign and workforce transformation. And 95% of workers are already being asked to enhance their information or their knowledge, and particularly towards the generative AI. This is what the new survey suggests. And then there was another survey which says and which asked the managers' opinion about the AI, that asking that what is their belief, will the AI will provide an opportunity to a lower salaries, and 45% of the manager agreed on it. So this means that there is high risk that a normal jobs which is done by the human at this moment might be replaced by the AI, because generative AI can create the content and agentic AI can create the autonomous environment. If these two merge together, then the ordinary jobs which at the moment is done by the human is taken by the AI, which is made of generative and the agentic component of the AI. So this means that there is a high demand, or there is a high need that people should learn the basic power of the AI. AI would be the next internet. It would be implemented in every part of the daily life. Now the jobs that are at the risk in the current era of generative AI, this is the customer services. We already have got the chatbots which can offer the customer services as similar as humans. So the customer service jobs are at high risk. Administrative jobs are also at the risk. Retail jobs, because of the agentic AI, are also at the risk. So these are the areas where because of the agentic AI and generative AI, there is highest risk involved that this will be replaced by the AI, and human will not be usable for this type of job. The another factor that I can mention here is finance, healthcare, especially the healthcare. And because of the chatbot that we have that is there and that can use to make a decision about the health of the patient based on its input. So the concept of the nurses or the concept of the medical support staff is now no more there, and this is all being taken up by the generative AI and the agentic AI. Especially in the recent or in the future, there is a high chance we don't need teachers at all. Why? Because you can create the content, you can create the agentic AI, you can create the chatbot, even with the help of a robot, you can give it a human-like feature. So this is a high chance that teaching, the basic teaching facility is no more required, and it will be all occupied by the AI. So how would we basically do so that the business ecosystem should be following the demands of the modern era? Some of the things that I have here is that this is a high time we should consider a centralized decision making approach. We should prioritize the collaboration between human and AI, and the adoption of the generative AI and agentic AI for the business leading process is very much needed at this time, and the deployment of the agentic AI, autonomous agents for every type of business should be incorporated into the business to meet the demands of the postmodern AI. And not only this, the very important part is that whatever the AI platform, whatever the AI models, whatever the AI applications are used, it must have an element of explainability, so that it can justify the decision that why some decision is made. For example, if AI is used in a law, then the decision made by the AI should be justified why this decision has been given. This is an example where agentic AI has been used in the value chain, and what they do is basically integrate generative AI for designing and making, and then they deploy the agentic AI for making an autonomous agent that execute and monitor the system. In addition to this, as I mentioned that retail system is also incorporating these new techniques to make the system autonomous and intelligent. Some of the work that we at University of East London have done in my department is based on the agentic AI and the generative AI. We have incorporated data visualization, and one of the important part that we have done here is the system which is called as Valkyrie. This is agentic AI and generative AI based system which helps the crime or the police to find out the criminals based on some type of modus operandi. And what it does, it actually creates an agent-based schema that use the crime report or what we call it FIR report, and based on this, it creates a pipeline that suggests that what would be the possible scenarios, what would be the possible potential suspect or offender that could be related to a possible crimes. And in doing so, we have created a two-dimensional crime space that generates the solved crime and unsolved crime, gives a kind of a mapping system that maps up a crime to the offenders based on their spatial, temporal, and modus operandi, and it creates a space where one can determine where the crime has happened, why it has happened, what are the other crimes similar to this. And this is being used, this platform that we have developed under my leadership is being used now in most part of the Europe, where the security agencies are using this out of the system. Another important part is the deep fake detection. Many of the videos that we see today are basically fake. So we have developed a system that based on the generative AI and agentic AI detects the deep fake on the social media and highlight that this content is fake and this content is not real. It actually saves the social media and brings the trust back to the social media. It incorporates something called as transfer learning, which is basically based on the videos, identify the face and map it with the original face to differentiate that if this video has got any manipulated item into it, and it also gives the accuracy and the explainability to suggest that why this decision has been made by the system. The last important thing I would like to mention in the health sector that I have done here is that we are using the agentic AI and the generative AI for detecting something called as Alzheimer's disease or dementia disease. And what we are doing is we are using large language model and the vision transformer and transfer learning to find out the Alzheimer's early detection from many forms. For example, looking at the X-ray reports, for example, the handwriting, for example, the patient records. We are now capable of predicting that what would be the age when someone can have the Alzheimer's disease. Not only we can predict it, we can also justify our model prediction. And there is a chatbot which can be used by the doctors, by the medical practitioners to talk to the system, to ask their help, so that the human and the machine collaborate with each other to give a system that is not only accurate but can also be justified and is autonomous. So I'm happy to answer any questions which you may have from my presentation. That completes the end of my talk. Thank you very much. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं आपसे एक बात कहूँ कि AI हमारी लाइफ के लिए कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है, हमें उसको यूज कैसे करना है। जैसे मैं थोड़ा सा एग्जांपल दूं, जैसे कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रही ओनली AI के ऊपर, जैसे हम किसी भी हमारे जो किड्स होते हैं, भाई है, बहन है, छोटा बच्चा है, एग्जांपल मैं आपको इस तरह समझा रहा हूँ, जैसे हम उसकी उंगली पकड़ के उसे चलना सिखाते हैं, वो एक दफा में चलना नहीं सीखता, ऐसा है या नहीं? या वन टाइम हमने कहा कि चलो तो वो चलना शुरू कर देगा? नो, उसको हम मल्टीपल टाइम ट्रेन करते हैं। जब हम मल्टीपल टाइम ट्रेन करेंगे तो क्या होगा, वो यूज टू होगा उस रूटीन से, उस बैकअप से। फाइन। इसी तरह स्कूलिंग सिस्टम में कोई भी स्टूडेंट अगर एंटर हुआ तो उसको 2 का टेबल या ABC आप काटते हैं, उसको क्या करते हैं, ट्रेन करते हैं। अब ये असल ट्रेनिंग, क्या हमने इसकी कैसे ट्रेनिंग लेनी है और उस ट्रेनिंग के बिहाफ पर हमने इसको सीखना है, हमने AI के टूल को यूज करते हुए हमने इससे किस तरह काम टास्क परफॉर्म करना है कोई भी। अगर हमें ये प्रॉम्प्ट लिखना आ गया और हमें AI का काम समझ में आ गया, और एक और चीज, जो ये AI है खाली कंप्यूटर साइंस के लिए नहीं है, क्या हम खाली कंप्यूटर साइंटिस्ट हैं या कंप्यूटर इंजीनियरिंग है या सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग हमने अडॉप्ट की हुई है तो हम सिर्फ इस AI को टूल करेंगे, यूज करेंगे। ये ईच एंड एवरी हर फील्ड के अंदर AI इन्वॉल्व है, हर फील्ड में, वो बायोकेमिस्ट्री हो, वो केमिस्ट्री हो, वो बायोलॉजिकल हो, मेडिकल हो, किसी भी आप फील्ड में चले जाएं, बगैर AI के, बगैर सिस्टम के कोई काम। और कंप्यूटर साइंस के लिए और कंप्यूटर इंजीनियर्स के लिए, कंप्यूटर सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स के लिए स्काई इज द लिमिट। अब उसके लिए जैसे सुपर डॉक्टर साहब ने कहा कि उन्होंने प्रोटीन्स का बनाया, लेकिन वो कौन है? वो केमिस्ट नहीं है, बट उन्होंने टास्क परफॉर्म किया, गेम बनाया, गेम के टास्क को परफॉर्म किया। अगर हमारी लाइफ थोड़ा सा हम अपने आप को मोटिवेट करने और थोड़ा सा इसके अंदर कंट्रीब्यूशन करने AI के अंदर, तो स्काई इज द लिमिट। थैंक्स अ लॉट।
Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad Khalid, for your meaningful input. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege for me to introduce our chief guest for today, Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood Iraqi, the esteemed Vice Chancellor of the University of Karachi. With over 3 decades of experience in academia, Dr. Iraqi has played a vital role in shaping the educational and administrative framework of the university. He holds a PhD in public administration and has served as the chairperson of the department. Dr. Iraqi has served as faculty at Hamdard University, University of Balochistan, University of Management and Technology, and NND University. Dr. Iraqi is a respected researcher and academic, co-author of a book with over 60 published articles and supervision of more than 35 MPhil and PhD scholars. His leadership has been marked by a strong emphasis on curriculum reform, institutional development, and sustainable energy initiative to make the university more self-reliant. He has also worked to build international partnerships with organizations such as USAID, the British Council, and universities in the UK, USA, and Canada, enhancing the global standing of the University of Karachi. We're honored to have Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood Iraqi with us today, and we look forward to benefiting from his experience.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It's an honor to be part of this event being organized by TheKasbit under the leadership of Fahim Qazi, the director of this institute. I came late and I'm sorry for it. And I can see the Vice Chancellor of various universities, the faculty members, the students, the researcher, and the participant. The conference is about multidisciplinary research for educational institution for growth, development, progress. Research is a key component. Traditionally, educational institutions used to put emphasis only in terms of teaching. But with the passage of time, we have realized there are two important components One is teaching and the other in the research. Because if you are interested in global outreach, international recognition, then research is the forefront. Now we are talking about multidisciplinary approach, where in the traditional system we had a very watertight compartment. No approach in what we call is interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary approach. If you're a student of medicine today, you're supposed to have a study about sociology, the psychology, and the other aspects as well. Even if you're a student of management, it is no more confined to the skill, what we call as the management skill. I think first step, nation like Pakistan, they have to realize that the way forward is education. And particularly, the policy makers in Pakistan, they have to realize that spending money in education is not expenditure. It is what we call is investment. Investment in future. Investment in terms of shaping the future of the young generation. It is not enough to claim that we are fortunate to have a young generation. We have a bunch of youth. But what about giving them hope? What about shaping their future? What about making them a product to be competitive in the market? Nothing is granted in the competitive world. काफी नहीं है कि आप मुसलमान हैं. काफी नहीं है कि आपके पास डिग्री है. It's about your skills. It's about your attitude. It's about how much you are competitive in the market. And in order to compete in the market, it's about efficiency. And the debate is about one of the speaker before me was talking about AI, artificial intelligence. Why we are talking about AI? What is the importance of AI? How it is helping us in different sectors. I am not a student of medicine, but I have seen AI playing a pivotal role in the field of medicine, in terms of diagnostic and in terms of providing services to its client. AI is important for the computer scientists as well. AI is important in terms of your administrative efficiency as well. When we talk about digitalization has helped in our administrative capacity, administrative capability. Sitting here, I can run my university with the WhatsApp, email, the Facebook, and different technology we use today. It's no more I supposed to sit in my office. No, it's about digitalization. And today, the world has explored that digitalization is an important area. And the West is offering bachelor's and a master's degree in digitalization. So I think this conference will provide inputs from the different scholars who are working in that particular area. And I think it's a good initiative taken by this university to talk about the different areas of AI. We live in an age which is about innovation and creativity. The Chinese today, they're competing with the Americans. Because in the business world, they are very sharp in competing with the Americans. जो गाड़ी यूरोप में अमेरिका 90,000 डॉलर का बेच रहा हो, ऐसे एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूँ. The Chinese are selling in 60,000. Recently, one month back, I was in Kazan, one of Russian city. In Kazan, I was surprised to see that all automobile vehicles which used to be Japanese were replaced by the Chinese. So this whole Chinese market which has captured that particular area. So आपके लिए शायद इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं हो, पर मेरे लिए बहुत इंटरेस्ट की बात है when we talk about Israel-Iran conflict, American engagement, the technology has prevailed. You have to judge yourself कि किसको कामयाबी हासिल हुई, किसको कामयाबी हासिल नहीं हुई. So it's all about technology, and I wish our future generation sitting here, they will embark upon a journey which is about technology, which is about skills, and the last thing is about commitment. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Iraqi, for joining us today and sharing your perspective. Now we come to a special segment of today's event, the distribution of shields to honor and recognize the valuable contributions and presence of our distinguished guests. These shields are a token of appreciation and gratitude from our institution for their impactful participation and support. We are pleased to invite Director Dr. Fahim Qazi, Dean Dr. Raja Rehan, Director Auric Muhammad Ali Kamal, Registrar Mr. Atif Rauf, and CFO Mr. Mohsin Mahmood to kindly come forward and present the shields. We request the recipients to join us on stage as their names are announced, and we ask the audience to please remain seated and extend applause as we celebrate each individual's contribution.
Up first, we would like to present the shield to Professor Dr. Khalid Mahmood Iraqi, Vice Chancellor, Karachi University. We would now like to call Professor Dr. Mansoor Fadaud, Vice Chancellor, Ilma University. Next, we have Professor Dr. Tariq Jalil, Dean and Registrar, PF Keat. We would like to invite our guest of honors. First up, we have Professor Dr. Liaquat Ali, Principal, Bahria University. May we now have Professor Dr. Imamuddin, Director Center for Islamic Business and Finance, Institute of Business Management. Mr. Sayyid Kashif Rafi, Registrar, Ilma University. Please put your hands together for him. We would now like to invite Professor Dr. Yasmin Sultana Farooqi, Dean, Faculty of Media Sciences, Ilma University. May we now have Professor Dr. Zahid Ali, Dean, Faculty of Science and Technology, Ilma University. Please put your hands together now for Mr. Faisal Sarwar, Deputy Director, State Bank of Pakistan. Okay, fine. He's not with us anymore. Can we please now have Professor Dr. Bashir Ahmad, Dean, Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, Al-Kausar University. And we also have Professor Dr. Asif Kamran, Dean, Faculty of Business and Management Studies, Nazir Hussain University.
This concludes the current session. We will now take a short tea break. Along the tea break, we will resume with our next scheduled sessions, which will continue until namaz and lunch break. Kindly ensure your timely return after tea, so we may begin the upcoming sessions without delay. We request all the guests to return to the hall by 2 p.m. as the afternoon sessions will commence promptly at that time. Before we proceed, we would like to inform you about the locations of the upcoming sessions. Session A will be held in the main auditorium right over here, whereas Session B will take place in room 11. To assist you, our volunteers are stationed nearby and gladly guide you to your respective venues. Thank you for your active participation. I would request all the guests for a picture. Thank you for your active participation. We look forward to your continued engagement throughout the day.
Yes, please. Yes. Aake bhai join करें. Yes, please. Done? Thank you.